Hello YouTube and hello Billy. This is Zach and today I'm going to be analyzing Memory by Zhou Shen. Yeah, let's get straight to it. I don't know what to expect and I've come to expect the unexpected with Zhou Shen, but this was a very popular video and it's been requested by me for quite a while. So yeah, let's see what this is all about. Let's do it. Yeah, another totally different style of music. Oh, Andrew Lloyd Webber, huh? What is this from? There's the jazz standard, head voice, M2 register, kind of operating in the soprano realm. I've just heard, even just from this first line, like I've just heard so many different spaces and styles and genres. He just does it all. I mean, it's ridiculous. He's already doing a really good job, even just singing these ah vowels, of kind of encapsulating that laid back, what we call backbeat feel of this style and of this genre. Oh yeah, I know this song. Good pronunciation. His English is great. Good legato as always. You know, it's funny because some of my fellow Americans and maybe even British people are probably going to hate me for saying this, but in some ways he navigates diphthongs, English diphthongs, better than English speakers do. A diphthong is anytime you have a vowel that's sort of two in one. Like, for example, in the word moonlight. Well, light, the I vowel in English, which is an E in many other languages. The I symbol is pronounced E in many languages, but it's I in English. It has a natural diphthong in it, which means that when you pronounce it, it's I, right? So a lot of people struggle with diphthongs because they don't know how to sing the vowel properly. And it's funny, moonlight. A lot of people will go moonlight, right? They'll use they'll lean on the E instead of the I, but Zhou Shen here goes moonlight. He leans on the first vowel of the diphthong, which is exactly what you should do. Listen to this again. You can hear it. A moonlight. And he cuts the word a little bit short, moonlight, but still he doesn't go light, he goes light. So for those of you who are working on your English pronunciation and speaking in general, whenever you have any of these words that have multiple vowels within a singular vowel like an I, just lean on the first vowel. He does a great job of that. Yeah, his pronunciation is excellent, his legato is excellent, and he's producing sound up in the soprano range that this is not what I would call the operatic sound he was creating before. This is much more of like a Broadway or jazz type style that he's in. So like it's not the same as when he sung The Condor and the Orchid Flower, the duet. That was much more in a classically operatic, open space, open pharynx, low larynx, kind of haughty, full operatic classical sound. He's not really doing that here. I think I talked about this a little bit in Ring the Doorbell as well, where it is a little bit more of the kind of closed pharyngeal space, the pharynx kind of being this area in the back of the mouth and, not in the throat, but at the back of the mouth, the top of the vocal tract, a little bit more closed space, making the sound a little bit thinner. And if I just use my head voice and I go, oh, 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 that's very open sounding. But if I go, oh, 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 I can even feel a little bit of a squeeze kind of in the upper part of the larynx, like up here. Things are a little bit more closed. And obviously I don't sound like him, but the way that he's creating this sound is more in tune with the way that I did that second head voice sound. It's a little more closed, a little more narrow, which is why it doesn't have that classical sound, and it sounds more contemporary or Broadway-esque. And that's appropriate because this is Andrew Lloyd Webber. It's not a classical composer. This is a Broadway piece. So it makes more sense that it'll be sung in that style. Typically in American Broadway, there's a much greater emphasis on delivering the words as if you were speaking them, making the text very clear. Whereas when it comes to Western classical opera, things like that, it's more about the line and the space and the beautiful vowels and things like that. And the fact that Zhou Shen is able to make that distinction and sing it appropriately, it's a testament to not just his vocal skill, but it also shows how educated he is. I'm sure there are varying different forms of Chinese opera as well, and I can't sing any of them, but even if I did sing one, I probably would try to sing them all the same way, even though I'm sure they have different approaches that are needed. He's very sensitive to the differences between the various types of stage performing that you experience in American or Western classical music or Broadway or what have you. The fact that he's using this more closed pharyngeal high larynx sound in this particular piece shows that he's sensitive to the style differences that are required to sing it. So that's a bit of a tangent, but it's just a little subtle thing about his singing that might go unnoticed if you don't kind of know the distinction between the two.
I can smell the old days. I was beautiful then.
Yeah, such a good sense of line. Amazing legato. Good dynamics. It sounds like he had some really good rhythmic acuity there too, because I think he did what's called like a duple. Time I knew what happiness was. I think that's what he did. I think he did a duplet. Let me check. Yeah, so this is kind of nerdy and technical, but the meter is kind of like either a slow 3 or a 6/8. Da 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 da. That's the meter. Da 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 da. So you'd count that 1 2 3 2 2 3 3 2 3 4 2 3, or 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5. Well, in this line, this time I knew, it uses what's called a duplet, where it kind of I wasn't expecting getting into rhythm theory here, but what happens is you have, I guess in this case it would be quarter notes that are in a 2 pattern, as if it's counted 4. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 over 1 2 3 2 2 3 3 2 3 4. So what you get is time I knew what happiness was. So the rhythm in the background is 1 2 3 4 5 6. So if I go 1 2 3 4 5, time I knew what happiness was. So that's an example of polyrhythm. It's or some people call it a duplet. On sheet music, it looks like these little brackets with a number 2 over it. So like you can hear that it's pretty rhythmically precise. A lot of people will flub these and just kind of go like, time I knew what happiness was, and kind of make it swingy like the 6 pattern. But he kind of very clearly makes it a duple. Time I knew what happiness was. Time I knew what happened. So listen to it again. This is not about singing, but this is about rhythm theory. So listen to how he does that phrase right here.
Beautiful then.
1 da 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 da. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Time I knew what happiness. Yes, excellent control of the polyrhythm. Very nice.
Every street lamp seems to beat a fatalistic warning.
Good line. He does that. He does that little kind of like fatalistic warning. A really like strong sense of push and pull. Da da. It gives it this sense of musicality. A lot of singers don't think about the inflection of the line; they just sing the words. But when he sings this fatalistic warning, you can kind of listen to how there's this very clear sense of growth and decay in the line itself. Listen to it again, and you'll kind of hear how the voice leans into it and backs off. Watch my finger. I'll try to.
Fatalistic warning.
Like it kind of leans in and pulls back.
Someone motors and a street lamp guitar, and soon it will be morning.
Ah, vowel on the morning. Morning. Vowel modification.
I must wait for the sun.
Key change. little higher.
I must think of a new life, and I mustn't give in. When the dawn comes, tonight will be a
Same thing. Da da da. Yeah, duple, nice.
and a new day will begin.
Little crescendo there, a little bit more volume. Well, interesting, very interesting. I have questions. So when he switches to Chinese, there's more chord closure and there's more engagement in the mechanism a little bit. You can hear when he starts singing in Chinese, sort of that kind of that kind of affect goes away and it becomes a little fuller, a little firmer. I mean, obviously it's an intention, like there's a deliberate engagement and there's more chord closure. He's doing that intentionally, but I don't know if that is because the Chinese language doesn't really operate without chord closure or what. I have questions because I'm not familiar with the language enough, really much at all. Aside from Lot CG, aside from that, I don't know much about the language. So I wonder if he switches affects because the language demands it, or if it's just because he's trying to put more sound on it. Maybe you all can give me some insight. Like when you speak the Chinese language, how frequently do you back off the voice and kind of maybe make the affect a little breathier, a little softer? How often do you do that? Because if you don't do it much, it makes a lot of sense that when he switches to Chinese, that the vocal affect kind of completely changes. That would make a lot of sense to me. In case you did not know, it is harder than ever to grow on this platform. So please like and subscribe. It helps me out so much. On that note, I also am a professional singing teacher. I teach voice lessons for a living. Join my Discord server if you're interested in that kind of thing. I teach all the time. I'd be more than happy to give you a free assessment. It's totally free, 30 minutes, where you can get a good idea of where your voice is at and we can game plan for the future from there. I also have a Patreon, I have memberships, I have a merch store, all kinds of ways that you can support this channel. Please consider supporting me. I would appreciate it so much. Thank you, and back to the video. Well, yeah, it starts out soft, but it builds, you know, you got more fullness. But there's definitely a deliberate change. Such a good line. Bright E-vowels. Really bright, shiny E-vowels. Nice. Beautiful pianissimo at the end on that note. Beautiful. I didn't expect it to kind of dial off and, you know, be softer on that top note. Very nice. A couple of things to point out about this end section here is that when he sings these higher notes, he's doing a really good job of making a very consistent, bright eval. And that's actually a little bit atypical. And he's shown in other videos that when he goes up into that range, he uses more of the traditional vowel modification, like ah to ah vowel, when he moves up into the high part of that soprano range. Again, I think that this is a stylistic choice based on the fact that he's singing Broadway, and a lot of times the contemporary musical theater style will kind of forego some of the more classical methodologies when it comes to singing up in the upper range. It's not a better or worse thing. It's just they prioritize different things. So you can hear when he's singing these high E vowels, like when he would sing the more soprano classical oriented things on some of the older videos I talked about, he would kind of switch from an E to like an or even an a. Well, on this, you can very clearly hear him sticking to these very bright E vowels. When you sing an E vowel, the tongue kind of like moves up to the top of the roof of the mouth, and the front of the tongue kind of touches the back of the bottom teeth. It kind of makes this E position. That's what makes the vowel bright. And he sticks with that as he moves up the voice here, as opposed to going and creating a little more space. So listen to the E vowel specifically. See, I make a fool out of myself, but even if I sing that note, obviously I'm no Zhou Shen, but if I try to sing that note, I can't go, it just sounds, it's not like a witch, right? It just doesn't work. If I try to sing that note in my head voice and have any kind of resonance on it, I have to, create some space. I have to go to an or even kind of, right? I can't do that bright E because there's something I feel when I do it, this sense of constriction almost. So it's notable to me how bright and how piercing his E vowel, even though he's sticking to that initial vowel shape. It's not a good or a bad thing. It's not a problem with the singing at all. It's just it's unconventional. You aren't going to see a lot of singers that move up into the upper part of their range and really stick on those E vowels and keep it clean and resonant like that. So yeah, it's really interesting to me. The mechanism that he's using for most people doesn't work that well when you move up to that point. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I think there's one more thing I wanted to point out. Yeah, his vibrato, the vibrato is a lot more fluttery. It's not like when you hear the classical stuff, the vibrato tends to be like this very stable, firm waveform type thing. And he does that too in the classical stuff that we've talked about in the past. And this one, where he's doing the more contemporary Broadway, the vibrato is a lot more I can't do it, but it has this like very fluttery, wavy, like thin vibrato, which is appropriate for the style. You hear this a lot, like I've referenced Edith Piaf and some things before. She's not really a Broadway singer, but that like kind of in that sort of style with a really narrow vibrato. A lot of the early Broadway singers did that. So again, this is showing that he's got vocal control that isn't just skill for singing, but it also allows him to have musical sensitivity based upon the style that he's choosing to sing. I love his dynamics. Big, right? You can hear that taper off a bit in the volume. And instead of getting bigger, it's softer in the high note. I can't even do it. I can sing the note, but like, yeah, being that's, oh my gosh, that's hard. And I can feel that I sound kind of thin when I do that. I don't have a lot of resonance, but if you listen to that last note, how controlled and still how resonant and ringy it is. Yeah, he's in total control. You can even hear it kind of tapering off at the end even more. So it already has this pianissimo, very soft thing, and he dials it down even further. And that comes from breath management. Being able to control the volume like that comes from breath management. It's a concept we call messa di voce. Incredible stuff. I mean, I say the same things about him every time. He never ceases to blow my mind with how just incredibly versatile he is. And what I took away from this performance more than anything is that he is so sensitive to the style. I mean, like, it's crazy to me because he does it all and he does it all well. Like, I'm kind of a one-trick pony, right? I sing opera, I can sing classically, but my voice teacher, Dr. Hobbins, always used to tell me that I was like a gorilla that played golf. And what he meant by that was like I had this huge voice and I'm the gorilla that lines up to swing and it goes, however many meters it needs to go all the way to the green. But then I go to putt and I putt and it flies that far into the woods, right? I don't have the ability to dial my voice back very much. And so that's one of my weaknesses as a singer. It always has been. It's a limitation. Zhou Shen doesn't have anything like that I've seen. He can sing softly, he can sing full, he can sing high, he can sing low, he can sing thin, he can sing dark, bright. He has all the vocal colors. He can sing in any style. And every video that I watch is like a different context for his voice. I mean, if I think back on all the videos, I've seen everything from, Chinese classic songs to classical pieces to Broadway pieces to pop songs to what sounds like rock music. I've just heard a little bit of everything from him. And he makes it work in every single style and genre. And you just don't see many people who can do that. So hopefully this video gave you some insight. I know I didn't talk as much about pure singing technique, but this performance in particular really showed me his musical sensitivity, his overall musicality, and his understanding of musical context. So yeah, terrific stuff. Great performance. I can't wait to see something next. Give me another recommendation. Thumbs up the videos you guys want me to talk about, and I will take the most requested one, and that will be the next video. So thank you all, Zhou Shen fans. Thank you, Billy. Thank you, YouTube, and I will talk to you all again soon. Bye.